creating an Instagram post on Canva. On my screen, you can see that I have opened up Instagram. Now, what we're going to do is going to be selecting on whichever size we want to use. And in Canva, there are all of them. Now, the first thing is that when you open up Canva, you will basically find out 2-3 of them, which are also named Instagram and stuff. So the first thing you're going to do is that there are basically portrait and square. And another one is story. So you don't have to select the story, but select whichever one you want. In our previous lessons, we've used portrait because we needed, a bigger height, or let's say the height to be bigger or longer. But now what we need is that we need it to be square. Now, how do I do that? So basically you can see that there is Instagram post square, which is 1080 into 1080, means that it is square. And there's another one, which is portrait, which is not 1080 into 1080. You can see this is 1080 into 1350px. So what we're going to do is going to use the square one because it just is a bit more convenient than how it is. Now, the first thing we're going to do is going to apply more pages to it. Because obviously when you post, you don't always post only one photo, right, on your feed. You post like multiple photos. So we're going to add like 4 pages. You can see the pages are also counted at the same time. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be changing the color of the pages. I'm going to do is click on this color. I'm going to do is choose something which is going to be very light and also looks quite good. So this is page 1. You can see it how it is. Page 4 and page 1. I'm going to do is select on this color. I'm going to do is find out something a bit more lighter. Now I'm going to do is put 1 and 3 to be the same color and 2 and 4 to be a bit different. Now on this one, I'm going to do is select off this color first, and then I'm going to do is just make it lighter by lighter. See, this is what I need. So this and 4 should be this color. See? Now all of them are of the same, but 2 color palettes. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is going to be starting off with elements. Now let's go off to our first page where we are going to put in our elements. Now in our elements, what we're going to do is going to be putting in maybe circle. We can put in shapes. We can put in like, image, let's say where you can put in images and all of those steps at the same time. Now, how do I do that? So the first thing you have to keep one thing in mind is that make sure that you're connected to internet, okay? And make sure that you are connected to your account. Now, about the account is that you can use either free or you can use either, premium. It's up to you. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is going to be clicking on one of the pages where I'm going to be starting off my first element or my first photo, which is going to be as our cover. So I'm going to click on elements. I'm going to do is wait for a while, refresh it. So I'm going to start off with the first one, click on the first. Then I'm going to do is start off with maybe, let's say a circle or maybe a square. Okay, I'm going to do is rounded square, which is also quite perfect. We don't need to, so I'm going to do is delete one of it. Then I'm going to do is going to be making one over here. You can see that we also have our border, which you can see over here. I'm going to do is going to be making it white first. Click on the color. There we go. We have white. And obviously what we're going to do is going to be fixing our transparency of it. Let's go. Now here you can see that this is how it will look like. And the first thing I'm going to do is going to be putting in a lot less transparency over here. I'm going to do is make sure that this kind of looks like this. And there we go. I'm going to do is put it at the center. There we go. As it is now on our center, we can also put in a triangle if you want to. The first thing I'm going to do is going to be turning it in such a way so that it looks something like this. Okay? So I'm going to do is make sure that it shrinks down. And there we go. We have it at our center. Now, first thing I'm going to do is going to be putting in our image boxes where you can put in your images. So I'm going to do is start off with this over here. Right. This is going to be your image boxes. Now here you can put in whichever image you want to use. Let's say I'm going to do is search up for something, maybe hills. Hit on enter. You can see it like this. Go off the photos, wait for a while until it loads up. You can see now this is how it will look like. Now you can see I have two, so I'm going to do is remove one of them, or you can also use it whenever you want. So I'm going to do is, first off, you're going to do is have them edit it if you want to, or you can also put it right over here, something like this. So this is how it will look like. Okay, so you can see that I have two of these boxes where I can edit and also use whenever I want. So I'm going to go off to elements, and then on your elements, you'll be able to use whichever element you want to use. Now, as we already have applied those, we can also apply the same things over here. Or we can do is overlap each other so that it looks kind of better, right? Let's try this. Let's do the same thing over here on the box, and there we go. We have two images over here. Now I'm going to do is click on position, click on layers, and take it underneath. So I want this overlapping. If you want to extend this up till here, it will also look kind of good, right? I'm going to do is take it right over here, and there we go. Looks better, and this is going to be it. Now you can apply whichever photos you want to use. Let's say I'm going to do is just take any one of these photos and apply directly over here. I'm going to just take it over here, and there we go. We have two of these images. Now we can also use different type of images if you want to. Now I'm just using any one of them, whichever I see, just so that you have the idea about how you can edit them. Now, if you want to use any elements, you can also go off the graphics and apply whichever element you want to use. Let's say from here, I'm going to do is maybe use these. I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to do is take this over here, turn it around, and this is how it will look like when I take them in the corner. First I'm going to do is going to be turning this upside down perfectly. I'm going to do is make sure this is tidied up. I'm going to do select on more, and you can also go off the shapes if you want to. You can align it if you want to. You can just go off to position. Let's go to arrange. Let's say I'm going to do is top. You can see, and there we go. We have it. I'm going to do is go to back. I'm going to do is take it, add the corner, and there we go. We have it. Do is duplicate it, and what I'm going to do is going to be clicking on this, and I'm going to do is turn it. Okay, we're going to turn it. We're going to just flip it up. Okay, just click on this, and if you find flip, you're going to flip it up. But if you don't find flip, what you can do is also just click on this over here, and then just click on this or click on this, and there we go. We have flipped it up. I'm going to do is click on this again. Then I'm going to do is to back. And what you're going to do is going to be clicking on this one over here. I'm going to do is change this transparency. Let's say I need it up to 82. Do the same thing over here. Click on this up to 82. 83 is also perfect. Now we are done with our first page. Now as we are done with our first page, now we are not like totally done. We're going to put in our text over here. I'm going to do is use whichever text you want to use. Let's say I'm going to do is use this, baked fresh. So when you click on it, just wait for a while, and then you can see this is how it will look like. Now there are a couple more of these, stuff which you can see over here. As you can see, this is baked fresh. What I'm going to do is take this underneath. Control X. Okay, I'm going to do is just fresh food. What I'm going to do is either keep it at the center or maybe right over here. See? Looks quite good, right? And if you want maybe, let's say strokes, you can also apply strokes. You just go up to effects, click off lift, select on this one, click on effect, and you're gonna do is apply an outline, and there we go. We have fresh. I'm gonna do select on this effect again, and then I want a bit of echo. Okay, you can see the echo. I'm gonna do is put the offset a bit more, click the direction. This is where I want my direction to be of the offset. There we go, we have it. And then I'm going to do is maybe duplicate this. Ungroup first. Duplicate it. I'm going to just put it right where it is. And on the top one, what I'm going to do is put in a bit of stroke. So I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to go off the layers. You can see the bottom one. This is the top one. So the top one I'm going to do is go off to effects. And instead of that, I'm going to do is put in outline. And on the bottom one, I'm going to do is go off to position. On this one, I'm going to just go off to effect. I'm going to put in echo. Just put this like this. Direction should be somewhere around over here. And I want the color to be a bit darker so that it is more visible. There we go. Now we have our first slide totally done. Now as our first slide is done, we can see fresh food right over here. We can also put the whole thing or copy the whole thing or group them up if you want to. Hold on a shift, Control G. There we go, we have it. We're going to do is put it right over here, fresh food. And then I'm going to do is put this over here. I'm going to put another text box. Let's say I'm going to do is type in foodie. I'm going to do is change the size. I'm going to do select on this and select whichever font you want to use. What I'm going to do is use this. And I'm going to wait until it is applied. And after it has been applied, I'm going to do is move on to our next page. What I'm going to do is apply more content and also apply a lot more. Okay. Then we're going to also apply other photos and other elements in our next pages. You can see the text has been applied. Now this is how it will look like. Now let's go off to our next one where we are going to apply changes to our next page. So I'm going to do is go off to the next page. I'm going to do is find out the same thing over here. I'm going to do is take this over here. Okay, let's just duplicate it and take it over there. Duplicate. Take over here. And this time I'm going to do is going to be taking that color. Or maybe let's take this over to this side. What I'm going to do is change the color of this one over here, which is this one. I'm going to do is change the transparency. 82 is like perfect. Duplicate it. I'm going to do is take it right over here. 180, perfect. There we go. Totally perfect. So I'm going to do is going to be taking another element where I can put in my photos. I'm going to do is take it right over here. Okay, this time I'm not going to be using like this. I'm going to be using something like this. Make another duplicate, and I want landscapes this time. There we go. This is how it will look like. Okay, so I'm going to do is use this, and I'm almost done with this design. And you're going to do is just put whichever text you want to use. What I'm going to do is select on this. And I'm going to do is maybe rotate it a bit. And I'm going to do is reduce the size. Beach, please. So I'm going to do is change the color. of this into something like maybe this. Okay, not this color. I'm gonna do is change it to maybe this. And for this one, which is the beach, on this one, I'm gonna do is maybe put a bit of, okay, now this one, I'm gonna do is change it to maybe a bit of, you know, yellowish, purplish. Okay, a bit of yellow. Okay. Okay, this is basically how it is, just reverted. So never mind, I'm gonna do is keep it this way. I'm gonna do is go off to elements. I'm gonna search for beach. And after I hit beach, I'm gonna do is click on photos. I'm gonna do is just take any of these photos which I have over here, and there we go, we have applied in the photos. You can also put in your text if you want to, and you can also put in where it is. Okay, let's just say I'm gonna do is put this text over here, and I'm gonna do is put the other element which I have over here to be somewhere around over here. I'm gonna do is take this, I'm gonna do is make another duplicate. I'm going to make it turn all the way around. There we go, we have 0. And then I'm going to do is going to be taking this like this. And I'm going to do is go off to position. And I'm going to take this underneath it. There we go. We have it. This is going to be our second page. What I'm going to do is put in a bit of aesthetics. Now let's see what we can find. Let's click on see all. And I'm gonna do is maybe put in a bit of couple of lines maybe. Let's just select this. There we go. And if you want to remove it or remove a couple of parts, it's like totally up to you. It's just, you know, up to you how you're gonna work with it. So this is our second page. And on our next page, we're going to go off over here. You can also take this underneath if you want to. Now let's go off to the third page, which is going to be quite similar, but I'm going to do is put in circle over here instead of, you know, how I used it in the first one. There we go. Click on this, transparency, change the color, white. As we have our white, there we go. I'm going to do is put in my photo box inside the circle. And as I've put it inside the circle, I'm going to do is put a text over here. I'm going to do is type in lodge photos. I'm going to do is maybe find something good. I'm going to do is put in a bit of text. I'm going to go to text, add a text box, take it at the top, increase the size. This is how it's supposed to look like. And use increase the size. There we go. Inside the box, it should be somewhere around 60 or 51. There we go. Left align. Do is cut this off. I'm going to type in let's say I'm going to do is Royal. December 23. I'm going to do is click on this first text or both of the text. Click on this and let's try handwriting. I'm going to do is select on something good. Let's say I'm going to do is, okay, let's just use what we had on this one. It's Gochi hand. So I'm going to use Gochi hand on this one too. Let's type in Gochi. There we go, Gochi hand. Increase the size a bit more. There we go. Now we can put in elements on this side too if you want to. I'm going to do is, what I'm going to do is duplicate it and take it to this page. See? I'm going to do is change the color. Let's use something like red. And on the last page, we're going to do is 3 photos. Now, how do I do that? Go off to elements, go off to all. What I'm going to do is, first off, we're going to find out this, photo keepers, or the frames where I can keep my photos. Now I'm going to do is, first off, select the frames which I want to use. Now, what I'm going to be doing is going to be finding out very, the heights are like very small. So I'm going to do is find out shapes over here. We can also use, the basic shape of square or rectangle. It's up to you. You can also trim it if you want to. So from here, what I'm going to be doing is, let's say as I'm using rounded corners most of the time, let's just use this. So I'm going to do is make 3 of these. Take this over here. There we go. And duplicate. Duplicate. There we go. We have 3 of these. Now, as I have 3 of these, what I'm going to be doing is going to be applying more elements. Now, let's apply a bit of element over here, as we already have it. I'm going to go back. Now, what I'm going to do is trip. Okay, let's just try road. Okay, let's not this one. Hit on enter. Let's try whichever photos we find. And on the road trip, we're going to add all the photos over here. Then after adding all the photos, we're going to apply a bit of elements, which will make it look a lot more better and a lot more professional. Because I'm quite satisfied with these ones, which also looks quite good. This one is very good. This one's also looking very good. Also this one, very supple. And on this one, we're only going to apply photos. And if we can, or if we have any space, we will apply a bit of elements. Now, I'm going to do is use the photos. And I'm going to do is, I'm going to apply this. I'm going to apply this. And also this. There we go. We have 3 of the photos. Now I'm going to do is going to be apply a bit of element over here. I'm going to do is type in aesthetics again. I'm going to do is go off to graphics. I'm going to do is maybe apply a bit of this over here. What I'm going to do is try if it can be changed or something. Okay, it is not, so I'm going to do is delete it. I'm going to go down. I'm going to do is maybe find something which goes very well with this. So I'm going to do is maybe find something good. Okay, these ones are kind of nice. Do is rotate it. I'm going to do is click on position, backward. There we go. And over here, I'm going to do is find maybe something better. This is going to be October, if possible. October. I'm going to apply coffee. Control Z. That's not kind of an element, so I'm going to do is, let's try using another one. Here we go. This, and also this one. Over here. Also on the last one, or the third photo. There we go. So we have 4 of the pages, which is completely done. And this is basically how you'll be able to make your Instagram post by using Canva. Now, one thing is that you can make it up according to your desire and however you want to make it. So it's like totally up to you. You can also use this Spotify, frame which you have over here so that it looks better. And you can use photos inside of it so it just looks aesthetic. So hope you understood everything about this lesson, and I hope to see you in my next lesson where we are going to be learning about how we can make a book, or maybe let's say we're going to be making a logo design by using Canva.